This video is in collaboration with 11 other history channels. Find the playlist in the pinned comment below or in the description. Check out Epimetheus with his video on Bronze Age China, and check out Knowledgear on his video on the Hittites of Anatolia. The Indus Valley Civilization spanned the region around the Indus Valley and included regions that are known today as Western India and Pakistan. Factors like trade, farming, suggested peaceful coexistence, and common practices played a vital part in its development and sustainability. The civilization's growth took place around 3000 BC and therefore constitutes some of the earliest discovered and documented civilizations. Perhaps the significant rise can be attributed to its location, that being along a calm, reliable water supply. Rivers proved extremely useful for ancient civilizations. They provided a great source of fresh water and an area to hunt and gather food. When they flooded, they left behind nutrient-rich silt, and this fertile soil was great for agriculture. In the case of the Nile and Indus River, annual flooding allowed for the growing of crops in mass quantities, enough to feed a growing population. Rivers were also a natural fast transport system, both for the transportation of goods and migrations of people. The Indus Valley Civilization had begun as simple farming villages, and later developed into advanced urban centres with well-developed city structures. These developments aided to the rise in population, as well as the adoption of economic activities such as trade, which further aided to the growth of these cities. By 2600 BC, the Indus Valley Civilization was flourishing. Everything we know about the Indus Valley Civilization comes from archaeology. It remains the largest ancient civilization discovered, with over 1,500 sites. A likely writing system has been identified, though it remains an unsolved mystery, as historians and people who study linguistics have yet to decipher how to read it. Through archaeological artifacts, we can paint a picture of what life might have been like. The Indus Valley Civilization revolved around two prime cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Large-scale excavations were carried out at the site Mohenjo-daro under the direction of John Marshall and Ernest Mackay and numerous other directors in the 1930s. These cities, like most in the Indus Valley Civilization, portrayed a clear indication of prior urban planning, with straight roads, elaborate drainage systems, and strong, durable buildings. Houses in these cities were made of brick, either baked mud or wood bricks. These were made by skilled craftsmen who produced every brick the same size. There was an advanced water supply and sanitation system, which provided a clean environment for the community and with obvious hygiene benefits. Dwellings in these cities had private toilets that connected to wider public drains. These used gravity to transport waste, and they were covered by ornately laid bricks. The sewer network emptied into the surrounding watercourses and cesspits that were regularly emptied and cleaned. Both Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were fortified by large, robust walls, supposedly for the protection from either invaders or wild animals. However, due to the close proximity of rivers, it is more likely that these walls were designed for flood control. Mohenjo-daro had two districts, the citadel evidently for the upper class and the lower town for the ordinary citizens, although evidence suggests there was relative equality amongst citizens. As all of the streets were well drained, the city remained dry and clean, thereby reducing the potential of disease. One of the most opulent features of the Indus Valley Civilization can be found at Mohenjo-daro. Historians and archaeologists named it the Great Bath. There is no true consensus between historians on the purpose of this great bath, but some historians have speculated it was used for religious practices, perhaps as a spiritual cleansing effect for those that bathed in it. The spiritual beliefs of the Indus Valley Civilization remain inconclusive, however it is believed that they honoured nature, especially water, which has similarities with the present-day Hindu beliefs. The population of these cities reached around 30,000 to 60,000 individuals, and during the civilization's peak, the population of the subcontinent grew to between 4 to 6 million people. This large population was sustained by the Indus River basin and subsequent biannual flooding. The inhabitants of Dholavira created a minimum of 16 reservoirs and developed a collection system based on harvesting rainwater. This environment was perfect for farming crops like wheat and barley, providing a surplus of food that was stored in granaries. The rivers and watercourses would also have provided fish and other types of crustaceans. They farmed many herding animals such as bulls, cattle, short-horned buffaloes, and elephants. One of the most interesting aspects of the Indus Valley Civilization is how they traded. Artifacts have been uncovered of seals that were made from clay or ceramics. Although these seals contained writings that remain undeciphered, they depicted images of animals which may have been used as an identification mark. One of the most famous seals is known as the Pashupati Seal. It depicts a man with a horned headdress surrounded by a buffalo and a tiger along with elephants and deers. Often debated by archaeologists and historians, it may suggest the representation of a deity. Some surmise that this seal is one of the earliest depictions of the Hindu god Shiva, who is associated with yoga and regarded as a lord of animals. Evidence has been found that the Indus Valley Civilization were trading beyond their region, as numerous seals have been found in Mesopotamia as early as 3500 BC. Traders carried a seal which was used as proof of their trade. They utilised a standardised measure for weights made from limestone. There was no metallic money, instead a barter system was used. One of the recorded trading partners of the Sumerian states was the Indus Valley Civilization, who they called Belua. It is not known whether this was their title or a name attributed to them by the Sumerians. Cotton was one of the most important products for trade, but other items, for example jewellery and animals, were also exported. Evidence exists of a bead and bangle factory at the site of Chanhudaru, whereas the site of Lothal is speculated to be a dockyard, providing ships to transport goods via sea routes. We know the Indus Valley Civilization were accomplished builders, traders and farmers. We can also interpret other findings discovered and decode how they lived their daily lives. Just like archaeologists in the future, who will potentially uncover iPads and smartphones and surmise how we live today, findings discovered by archaeologists have unearthed many toys and educational artifacts. Terracotta toys found at most Indus settlements provide a glimpse of the pastimes that might have involved trained animals. Terracotta ox carts with movable parts are perhaps the most common. Through the discovery of the bronze statuette, the poorly named Dancing Girl, we can also see an aspect to their culture. Another interesting sculpture found at Mohenjo-Daro is the so-called Priest King. The sculpture is made out of soapstone, a type of metamorphic rock showing a neatly bearded man with pierced earlobes. There is a fillet around his head, possibly all that is left of a once elaborate hairstyle or headdress. His hair is combed back, he wears an armband and a uniquely designed cloak. There is no evidence that priests or monarchs ruled Mohenjo-Daro, and we still do not know who the statue represented, a priest or a king, or just a prestigious person. What caused the downfall of this great civilization is still debated. Clearly no defined answer currently exists, but there are many theories. Most researchers concur that due to the gradual decline, the demise was either due to the climate of the region changing, or that the river changed course as a result of tectonic variation. This dramatic weather change to a dry, cold climate would have decreased food production and productivity. Over this extended period of decline, many of the population would have migrated to find more sustainable land for farming and survival. Weapons have not been found, nor artwork depicting warfare, therefore this leads to the conclusion that they were a peaceful civilization. There is no evidence that any city was ever burned or besieged by an army, or taken over by force from within. What we do know is during this period of decline, many features such as writing, the use of standardised measurements and trade began to disappear. Many of their great urban settlements were gradually abandoned. At around 1500 BC, the Indus Valley Civilization finally came to an end, and as a result the city slowly became ruins. It was not until the 20th century, when archaeological digs were conducted, that this fascinating civilization was uncovered. Without written sources or documents available, this civilization will remain largely a mystery. We can speculate and create an idea of their culture and society, piecing together their way of life. It is hoped that one day the mysteries and secrets of this fascinating civilization will reveal themselves. But for now we can only piece together parts of the puzzle and speculate how and why this great civilization rose and vanished. Thank you everyone for watching. A special thanks to our patrons Shara Ogilvy and Jimmy Alexander for supporting the creation of this video. If you haven't already, remember to check out Epimetheus, Knowledgear and all the other creators in this collaboration. Find the playlist in the description and the pinned comment below. Thanks again for watching.